Welcome back to Speederman.
I feel like that Kingdom Hearts 3 DLC shouldn't have been called Remind. It should have just been called the I'm Sorry edition.
I mean,
I just wanted to lead with that because I'm not sure if it's like Nomura is.
Apparently, they also there's an update that fixes up the combat and other problems with the game too.
Well, that's why I'm not 100% sure if it's straight up I'm sorry or if this is like Nomura going, yeah, okay, so I had like 2 weeks to chill out after the Final Fantasy 15 thing, and I realized that maybe I did kind of go off a bit, or someone just told Nomura, shut the fuck up and fix your game, goddammit. And he was like, fine, we're gonna make him pay for it.
So one thing I do know is, since it'll be out long enough by the time this comes out, and it's short enough to where my friend already beat it, you remember the bet I made where I said if Kairi is the one who saves everyone's asses, which I didn't believe, I would buy that figure. Well, I don't have to buy that figure.
I've not played it yet. I have it, but I haven't.
Why would you say that? Now I kind of don't want to play it.
I haven't got. I mean, I've not.
You can. I know you only really get the picker, from what I understand, in the boss fight.
Weird.
Which we expected.
Yes, but she's apparently really good.
I was kind of. I mean, I expected. I was kind of hoping I was wrong.
Wrong question. The correct
Well,
one is
you got more than you expected,
that was your first
but
mistake.
less than you hoped.
Your mistake was expecting something out of it.
I mean,
I was expecting. I was like, this had better be damn important because this is what makes or breaks whether I continue to care about Kingdom Hearts.
Well, there was your first mistake.
I mean,
I don't have much time.
I don't know. Kingdom Hearts 3 is not a bad game, but definitely has flaws, and maybe this DLC and this update fixes a lot of those flaws I had. I don't know, I'll find out when I get to it after I've played through, that story I've seen like a billion times at this point. I'm of course talking about Dragon Ball Kakarot. I mean, what's there to fucking say? It's Dragon Ball.
You're right.
We've all been there, done that. Oh look, Frieza wants to get the Dragon Balls because he wants to be immortal. Yeah, I've never seen this before.
I really would love a Dragon Ball game that was like a new plot.
So Xenoverse, you want Xenoverse 3 basically.
Yes.
But you want Xenoverse 3 where it's not just that. And then this time your OC goes back in time and helps them fight Frieza. And then Cell.
Right.
And then, but it's Dragon Ball. Dragon Ball's like Star Wars. There's no such thing as, there's no ideas anymore, it's dead. That's not fair. Dragon Ball makes a far more sense than Star Wars does these days.
I mean, apparently Mandalorian is good.
Apparently, for now, give it a season.
That's true.
But anyway,
I like Star Wars.
if I actually play,
I don't want the good times to be over. I don't want everything to suck. What am I gonna do with all my time?
find things that don't suck yet.
But everything sucks now.
Not everything.
No.
Which one is Delaney?
No.
Everything doesn't suck.
Guess you'll have to go to the party to find out.
Okay, all the stuff I liked kind of starting to either suck or be over.
Well,
That sounds like a you problem.
you know what? There are 3 things you can do in this instance. You can find new stuff. You can just enjoy the stuff we have, even if it's not as good. Or you can just curse Brian Michael Bendis to the heavens.
I don't know why, but part of me just felt Bendis was gonna come up. I can't explain why. I just could feel it, in the back of my mind.
You can feel the tingling in your balls whenever Bendis is mentioned. It's
I
like
mean,
that.
not really.
It's like
Well, when Bendis is gonna be
I'm
mentioned.
always cursing Brian Michael Bendis to the heavens.
Stop ruining things I like, Bendis. Never. And it's like, man,
You
he doesn't
can't
even have the
stop
Jeff.
me.
He doesn't even have the Jeff Loeb excuse where you can't really Or it just feels real awkward to criticize Jeff Loeb.
Where he's like, I mean, you suck and you're ruining everything, but I still feel bad for you because the only reason you're doing it is because you're having a breakdown because of your son's tragic death.
No, yeah. So it's like it feels bad to criticize Jeff Loeb. So you're like, you make me mad, but I can't really do anything about it. You win this round, Jeff Loeb. And then Brian Michael Bendis is no.
Brian Michael Bendis is just bad.
He's just a jack. He's just a fuckwit. Yeah, it sucks.
Yeah, he's like I'm just ruining everything because I think it's better to suck.
Because I hate you and everything you stand for.
No, or she's just like I just think it's better. It's like we could have the Avengers be minor characters, but I just want to throw in all the characters I like, even though they.
I thought about first about making everything decent, but then I realized this is more fun.
But then I checked my own name, realized who I was, and thought, "Fuck you." That's the Brian Michael Bendis way. It's like a fucking diagram, right? Is your name Brian Michael Bendis? Yes. Ruin everything. No. Check again.
Check again. Is your name Brian Michael Bendis? Yes. Ruin everything.
Just saying. That's what it feels like.
It's like he just gets up in the morning. It's like, good heavens, look at the time.
Man, I haven't ruined anyone's childhood yet. Better solve that problem, did it?
Man, I'm really off my game.
But I mean, man, speaking of famous auteurs who people inexplicably like, I finished Death Stranding this week. I mean, it's kind of hard to talk about because I mean, aside from it being, you know, it's kind of exactly what I expect in the form of being a Kojima game.
Yeah.
And, like, it definitely has the exact same problems a lot of other Kojima games have that I came to realize, which is that it's real bad pacing-wise for the story.
Especially, especially as time went on with Kojima, too.
When he got more invested in the story.
Halloween
But, like,
party.
he has this issue, he's had this issue, and he's always had it, of, like, of giving info to the player, which generally he does through monologue, so you don't get instead of dialogue, which basically leads into the biggest issue everyone had with MGS5, well, one of the biggest issues, is that Punished Snake doesn't fucking talk. So, after all the the shit we went through to replace David Hayter, it doesn't feel like he's actually been replaced. It just feels like you just cast a new character.
Find him before
Because you don't get a feel.
Most dialogue in Metal Gear is just Snake repeating what the guy just said. So.
Well, yeah, I know. But that's what I'm saying. That's been a problem with Metal Gear for the longest time. Is that he doesn't really do characters. He does people talk at the characters, which you know.
Oh no.
Snake and Big Boss being what they are is kind of almost feels like an accident these days.
I mean, it's because they originate from a much simpler time where, you know, yeah, there were lots of text boxes in Metal Gear, in the original OG Metal Gear, but like, it was also just sort of first and foremost a game.
Hey, what's wrong with you? I worked on that
Like,
helmet for a week.
and also it's grounded in a form of real world because,
It's out in
like
the
I
party
said,
somewhere. Who are you?
Well, that's the thing. He has the benefit of, in all of his, so like, other than what was that first game he did?
you mean
Police. What was it?
Police Knots?
Police Knots, I think.
No, it
Yeah,
wasn't
Police
that.
Knots.
It was like, I know. Is it Snatcher?
Maybe Snatcher. I forget the name of it.
I could.
But like that one was like the world building was just it's the future and here's some sci-fi shit, and that was kind of all it went into. Then the other ones were like it's our world, but like there's some secret wacky high tech shit.
I mean, for all intents and purposes.
And then this one it has to like establish a lot more.
I mean, for all intents and purposes, Metal Gear 1 is just Commando, but also there's a
Guy
robot.
throwing down candy could be Dr. Delaney.
That's basically it for Metal
Find a way
Gear,
up there.
or Metal Gear 1. So, like, there's this sort of, I don't want to say grounding in realism, but there's this grounding in a form of reality that you can sort of, that as a player, it's relatively easy for you to comprehend. The problem with
Right.
Death Stranding's issue is it's like, it's still it's technically set in the United States, although you wouldn't really know it because there's no like landmarks or anything to tell you because the game has already.
You could have said it was anywhere.
You could have said. I mean, also like all the countryside and stuff looks very much like. Well, I say it looks like Ireland to me, but yeah, that's just me. So I don't know. You just have this real disconnect because the whole game is about like, oh, we need to reconnect America. Because, you know, we can't reconnect Kingdom Hearts.
You can remind people of Kingdom Hearts.
But, like...
Get it?
Yeah, I get it. But, like... I don't know. There's so much of the front and back end of the game is just heavy. It's just heavy with exposition, and like it's especially bad in the back end because there comes this point where like basically you're at the end of the game, and then they're like, oh, by the way, here's the actual deal with everything. You're like, that doesn't make any sense. That's really stupid. Feels like you should have probably mentioned half of this stuff, like, you know, a couple hours ago, because it is a long game, and a lot of that is admittedly through like the pacing issues. Because the middle half, in the middle section, there's just this huge chunk where not a whole lot happens. It could have dropped a lot of these concepts in, or at least foreshadow better. I don't know.
Foreshadowing in a Kojima game, it's more fun to just say it at one point.
There is like genuine catharsis and enjoyment to be had from like actually playing the game. I will say that, but it's like
similar to how like 5, where there is like a catharsis to it and it feels fun, but
there's always comes with that sort of but there are a lot of these issues, and it's especially problematic if you're doing like a story-based game. Because, like, if the story's meant to be important, I don't know, I just kind of...
it's easier to be okay with problems in a story when the story isn't, like, the main focus. Like the story being goofy, like, in a fighting game, it's like, it's not the focus still. It's just there because,
But it's
story
sort of
here.
made double worse by the fact that because Sam himself... Like, the side characters, like all the other cast characters, great. The actual, like, sort of main duo of characters, like Sam and Amelie... fucking awful because Sam's bad because he just doesn't do anything. He doesn't get to say or do anything or have a personality beyond I'm angry and I don't really want to be here, but my girlfriend, waifu, mother, question mark. Yeah,
that sounds like Kojima.
So
and also like that's the thing too, like especially like in like even in 5, like Quiet isn't really that interesting of a character. A lot of people got invested in her because she was like the best fucking support character to have.
yeah,
Like she's just.
that's why
That's not why people got invested with her.
Oh no! I there's also that, but I mean like that's the reason people cared when the shit that happens to her goes down. It's because she's just a really good fucking support to have.
No, that's not why people.
Also
care.
the boobs.
That is why people care.
But yeah, so I don't know. It's not a bad game, but it definitely reeks of the. It kind of reeks of the sniff your own fart and people.
Which Kojima really started doing, especially in 5, where he just was allowed to just do whatever the fuck he wanted.
Like a lot of it definitely just also feels like this is Kojima just basically getting to flex on how many famous people he can con in on this. Like, do you remember when Red Letter Media hypothesized that Adam Sandler movies were an actual money-making scam?
Yeah.
I kind of which was basically the whole theory that Adam Sandler just makes these movies just so his friends get a paycheck. I don't know, part of Death Stranding kind of feels like that. But, I don't know, it's not a bad game, but I'm not even sure if it's on my top 10 for this year. And admittedly, a lot of that is just because this year's pretty real.
So the thing is, even if the gameplay is good, because the story is shit and that's the main focus and the main thing people will talk about with Kojima stuff, I'm going to be a lot less kind to it.
Like, and it's like, because, I don't know, there's just a lot of things.
I think you're also less annoyed with it because 5 makes a lot of problems for a pre-existing series.
Well, that's the point. 5 retro, it's kind of the Star Wars sequel.
Like, this is it, like, so what I mean is, like, this game is not a good story, but it's its own thing, where 5 is not a self-contained story, it's in a universe, and it causes a lot of problems within that universe.
Basically.
Where, like, Sahelanthropus just is a fucking walking what the fuck.
Well, it's like the Star Wars sequel issue, and that it's not so much in that like Star Wars sequels versus the prequels, and that it's not so much that one is necessarily worse than the other, but it is the fact that one retroactively ruins a lot more than the other does.
Right.
But because the whole argument of like, at the end of the day, as bad as the prequels were, they could never really take away from the ending of Return of the Jedi. The sequels
where this one
could do that.
Where the sequels did, and they literally grabbed Luke's character and threw him in a dumpster.
Yeah,
They only ruin things.
And it's not because he's dead. it's because they literally took his character and shat on it. Like, Han's death was fine.
Yeah.
Like, Han's thing was fine. Like, I don't have any problems with... like, honestly, like, Force Awakens in a bubble is fine. It's literally after you hit that movie.
Well, Force Awakens is the neo-new version thing Hollywood's going for, which is it's a reboot, but we're not going to really call it a reboot, but it's a reboot kind of deal. Okay? Soft
Right.
reboot, I guess, is the official term.
Yeah, that's what they tend to use,
Which-
is soft reboot. A lot of video games have been doing that too, to be fair.
Yeah, I distinctly remember the Ratchet and Clank one being probably my most hated one of them, but you know, I don't know. I kind of want to talk too much about Star Wars. There's what's more left to say.
Because yeah, we've talked about like for hours at this point in these recordings.
Here's the
What
unfortunate
else are
problem.
we gonna talk about?
What's the unfortunate problem? with it? It's
anything
such
else?
A big thing. I mean, we could talk about the impeachment. Well, that's even more depressing.
That's even more pointless.
Yeah.
We can talk about how they're quarantining China because there's apparently like a massive viral outbreak there.
I mean,
Oh yeah, a new plague. It's the 20s, so it's gotta be a new plague. Someone actually put up a fucking chart where every like 20s there's a fucking plague.
That's all of them.
I mean,
Gotta find Lee.
I'm sure there's some scientific basis for the idea of like the evolution of disease for the rate at which diseases evolve.
Probably.
Next, we need a plague doctor who isn't a plague doctor.
Well, plus also like you have to remember China is one of the most sort of population, or their like Chinese cities are some of the most like sort of dense populations on the planet.
Right.
Also, their health is in really bad shape because of their terrible air quality.
So it's
And also
That's
the
true.
fact that They work themselves to death.
and yeah, so and also the government doesn't care about them. But, like, so there's a lot of other factors that go into necessarily.
I know whose fault it is. It's Winnie the Pooh's.
It is Winnie the Pooh's fault. You're right. We should ban him.
We should ban him.
Just like
Finally.
just like Nomura banned him.
The more it regulated him to a section that could be easily cut out.
Winnie the Pooh
That's basically
looks
what it
like
is.
chairman.
It's just like three half-assed identical mini games, and then you're out of there. So they could just like, I'm sure the Chinese version just has that cut completely.
Fuck, Dan, did you hear about the SNK Samurai Showdown China thing?
Which one?
About how,
I don't know.
like, so you know how they're doing like this Samurai Showdown World Tour thing,
Yeah, go
and
on.
like basically, there was like 16 slots for like the like world tournament thing, and like 6 of those slots were mandated specifically for China and Chinese players,
Jesus.
and 10 for everywhere else.
Yuri, I need your help.
That's fucking dumb.
Yeah, it is. But hey,
that's me.
SNK is owned by a Chinese company,
But right now, you need to find
Yeah, they are.
so
Martin Lee's coming
can't
after
escape
him.
it, unfortunately. China owns us all.
Guess what?
It'll be
Another
really
economy.
funny. It'll it'd be really funny is like if all of those 16 get fucking knocked out early.
Well, that's gonna be sick. Yeah, that's gonna be what's gonna happen because the Chinese player base of Samurai Showdown wasn't even that big, I don't think. So it's like
Don't know.
that's the kind
Well, I know China. Actually, SNK was fairly popular in China, though. What their choices of SNK games are, which ones they liked are odd.
I thought
That's
you
what-
guys were
Because like
working
they, so for example, they liked King of Fighters '97, which
I have an
a lot
idea
of
for
people
fun.
are like,
I'll let you know if it
that
works.
game was the conclusion of a story arc, but it wasn't the best because it got weird with its music, where it got really experimental. It would only play like the actual like themes if the team captain was in play, and then it would play like this weird, more kind of like background sounds of the arena. It was really weird.
Yeah.
I mean, props them for experimenting, but no.
Oh no, what happened?
Lee corrupted him and made him kill himself.
Anyway, go ahead. I'm done.
There's not much more to say. It's like
This guy.
We
there are
will.
those slots
Yeah, it's fucked up.
specifically for Chinese players, which kind of screws.
To be,
Morgan Michael.
yeah, that's because of yeah.
Sure.
No, it's funny though. Like SNK's games haven't been affected, other than like they'll add like a side character who's Chinese, and that's literally it.
Came to Fisk and asked him to build a lab, but to keep it hidden from
So like, the games haven't been really affected, but that's pretty fucked up that they went that far with the esports scene. Where they're like, no, we need. You said 6 slots, was it?
I thought the FGC got
Or
massive.
was it 10?
I thought the FGC got 6 slots out of 16.
Okay.
I thought the FGC got massively butthurt if you refer to them as esports.
Everything leads back to
There are like 2 different divisions with it, and a lot of basically it's weird. They're the ones that that go through for esports. A lot of them are Street Fighter 5 players, and then there's the ones that don't.
Yeah,
It's
people get
fucking
massively
weird and
butthurt.
complicated and stupid. So what?
So yeah, people get massive butthurt. When is Street Fighter 6? Because like, Street Fighter 5 is not the game Capcom need it to be, right?
From what I understand, it was made when Capcom really didn't have a lot of cash, which explains a lot. Because apparently they were on the verge of bankruptcy.
place on lockdown.
So it explains a lot of that game. As to when, I have no fucking idea. I want it to be over. I want that game to be over.
Security network
Not
from
over.
the
It's
outside.
never over.
It'll eventually be over.
Well, I only mentioned it because there was that tweet that Harada made
There's the network cables.
recently about
Just need to follow them. to
Tekken Cross
security.
Street Fighter. Where it was like, yeah, okay, how many of you are actually waiting for this? Because I don't think the game can come out. I think the market's... I think
They
because
were
Street
defined
Fighter
security
5
module.
is a game that
There's
exists and
4 of these
Tekken
around the
7 is
building.
selling amazing.
Yeah.
Like, that is the best way I can describe Street
Make
Fighter
things
5.
easier.
It is a game that is currently out and has sold copies. That is actually...
I feel like, honestly, I feel like the moment it truly got canceled, even though they're not going to call it canceled, was when, they fucking... When Street Fighter Cross Tekken came out, and it didn't do too hot.
Yeah, I was gonna say, surely the moment where they were like, ooh, maybe not, was when Cross Tekken failed.
Yeah, honestly, I feel like they just haven't said it. They're doing the Valve thing where they're just not saying it.
Which is odd, because usually Harada's pretty vocal. I mean, the fact he did the tweet within the last few weeks and said it, yeah.
I mean, they've been playing around with it for ages, like of it coming out or not. Basically, the weird things like, oh, it's just not ready yet. They've been doing that for like years now.
Well, they used to bullshit. Well, the whole bullshit argument they used to give was that like Akuma's appearance in Tekken 7 was meant to be
Was a test.
was the test, which seems a bit dubious now.
I feel like what happened was they scrapped development at some point before, like around time Tekken 7 was being developed as on the side, and when they scrapped it, they were like, well, we worked this hard on Akuma. Let's just say fuck it and just ask Capcom if we can just use Akuma for a game.
Yeah, what felt more weird though,
Because
is
we put all this work into it. Why not?
what felt weird though was that it made
There's the second
Akuma
module.
canon, like important to the Tekken storyline, as it turned out.
Yeah.
Akuma continues his streak of not even killing anyone yet.
Everybody's got drones these days.
Yeah, he does.
I think I've mentioned before that.
Because Heihachi dies in the end, but he's killed by Kazuya.
Yeah. I don't think of anything else. I mean,
Oh yeah, I'm doing that mission right now. It's the one where you gotta go across the building while the Sable's agents are all like scanning the building.
yes. The reminds me a lot of one of the missions from PS1 Spidey.
Kinda, actually.
There it
Now that
is.
you mention it.
Oh, I just looked on YouTube and it's like, why is there no Green Arrow game? It's like, because Green Arrow's not popular of a character. I mean, he's popular, but not popular enough to like market a video game off of.
Right.
What,
It's
you
like-
mean like an arc?
That's kind of honestly, that's kind of a thing with a.
Well, I mean, not being funny. The only reason Green Arrow has a show is because you can.
Because they couldn't get Batman.
Because you can just do anything that you're gonna do in your Batman show. You would just stick a bow and arrow on it, and it's fine. DC doesn't get pissy. It's the only reason.
Okay,
I mean, it's like,
don't do anything crazy.
Batwoman is the same thing.
Speaking of crazy,
Yeah.
It's
I'll
like
find that last
it's
watch.
clear, but I mean, I watched a couple episodes just out of pure curiosity.
you poor
And,
bastard.
You know, I mean, I wasn't expecting it to be good. But I was
it's
just
worth-
like, but I was like, it's the same thing where
There's
it's
the
like,
last one.
it's like they really want her to be Batman, but they can't. So they're just making her as Batman as possible while saying, "But it's
Now I can get into
Batwoman."
Norman's office and hopefully find out more about
I mean,
Morgan Michaels.
It's a lesbian. Well, it's like she punches people and she throws batarangs, even though like Batwoman's thing is supposed to be she's a gunslinger, and they keep going on about and when she was in the army, she was this incredible marks person, but then she's just like, no, it's
They just don't do it.
throwing batarangs and punching.
Yeah, well, there's lots of things. I mean,
I like how Titans has Robin, who doesn't use guns, use a gun, and then the person who is a gunslinger, they don't have them use
yeah,
a
but
gun.
that's because but not being funny. Robin's parents weren't killed by guns; they were killed by trapezes. You don't see him ever using a trapeze.
Is Norman
Hmm.
True.
Fisk?
So it's true. He whenever he sees a trapeze, he often just attacks them one sight.
File MJ found.
It's like that one time Dead Man possessed him and he used the trapeze and he just looked in disgust. That's how Robin. That's how Dick Grayson took out Darkseid. He had to use the Infinity Trapeze. Broke his one rule.
He chokes him with it.
Yeah. I'm just saying. It's like, see, you might say, man, this is dumb. And it's like, yeah, these are all dumb, aren't
Cure
they?
any genetic disease. Cystic fibrosis, Huntington's.
Just
This is crazy.
Meanwhile, DC. Meanwhile, writers at DC are furiously taking notes.
Have his like, I must never hit anybody with the planet because my parents died from an exploding planet.
I mean, you could say that Superman is probably triggered by that, in that he would go, man, you know what I don't want to ever have happen again? My home planet explode. That kind of sucked. And to his credit, so far, that's managed to not happen. Gun violence still happens in Gotham, though.
You know, it's true.
Yeah.
Also, I do think that right now, with the fucking gag that you made, that DC Comics is like looking at this video and just like taking notes, like, write that down! Leave a new story!
It's just a brilliant idea.
Get Bendis on this!
Yeah, Ben. Like, all right, Bendis, we need to give Dick Grayson an irrational hatred of trapezes.
You know, I might say that's ridiculous, but I'll never forget that fucking the worst moment, or like the most sort of bizarre moment of my life. So when me and my friend watched Arrow, right? Like, because we always like ruin things by just making running gags, and the running gag of Arrow season 1 was that Oliver Queen spent years on this island, and like the biggest thing he always talks about is how it's always shit in a hole. And like every time, because in every scene he's just like, yeah, I spent 5 years on an island, and there wasn't even any plumbing. I had to shit in a hole. And then I played this like one Lego game that had like an Arrow DLC level. And one of the first fucking things they joke about is how Oliver Queen had to like make a hole to poop in. And it's like, are you fucking kidding me? I'm being
Of
stalked.
course they did that.
Yeah, but it's like, you can't just do that. They even do that in joke for season 2, which was that Slade Wilson Industries just made everything but with swords. It's like, from Slade Wilson Industries, the Sword Watch.
Good time.
Yeah.
Oh no, it's that point. It's that point train. We'll get to talk about it. It's that point. We're gonna go. Mary Jane's putting herself in the Sable facility.
It's the worst. It's the point she breaks. Yeah, she's just the worst. Yeah, I hate this part.
Yeah,
I thought you said we were gonna bring up Mirakuru again.
Oh no! I said running.
No, we weren't even gonna do
I
it.
said,
You
I'm
did
just
this
giving you
time.
running gags with what I had while watching, and then you get to Arrow season 4, and that itself is just the running gag.
Arrow season 4. That is the joke.
God.
Arrow season 4 is Mel's wrestling move.
God. When I had this horrible thought where, like, if you could like you could just like slightly modify it so that when he says Tom, come on, he's talking to Tom Willing. That's how I headcanon it now.
Come on.
Yeah. And instead of Batman v Superman, you get Green Arrow versus Superman.
He's not too excited.
But yeah, why is there no Green Arrow game? Because Green Arrow's not a popular character outside of the.
I mean,
this
the thing is, if you think of it, they could probably do a modified Arkham game, like with Green Arrow.
I mean, of
If
course
they
you
really
can.
wanted to.
Like, there's very few.
That'd go easier than making a game about Superman or the Flash, where like, how do we balance their incredibly game-breaking powers with the actual game?
Crap.
I mean, There's ways. I mean, I did kind of think about how you could do a Superman game, but I'm not really going into it at the moment. Like, there's ways. I think like the only character who's like really actually impossible to make a game for is Green Lantern,
Green Lantern,
and
yeah.
that's just because his power is just fucking weird. Where it's like, yeah, I make anything.
Or it's just
If you want to do a
extremely
Green
limited.
Lantern,
Yeah.
if you want to do a Green Lantern game and make it easy, just do Guy Gardner.
Yeah,
I mean,
Just make it a Guy Gardner game.
I mean, you could be a Green Lantern in DCU online, but like, it's like, yeah, you can make the like 5 or 6 things the game will allow you to make, and that is it.
yeah, which kind of defeats the point of being a Green Lantern.
Or you can be a Red Lantern and just like vomit blood.
Or
all
Yellow Lantern, you can be them too.
well, yeah, you can, but the Yellow Lantern is just the Green Lantern power set as a villain.
I mean,
Whereas
Right.
like Red Lantern is an actual separate.
Red's
power
either,
set.
I think.
No, red
Yeah,
is
yeah, Red's
red is a rage power, which is an entirely separate power set.
it's
No, I mean, it's like in terms of-
DCU power. Gotcha.
House guest.
Oh god.
Must be
What I was trying to say was you can be a villain or a hero with it. That's what I was trying to say.
Well, yeah, if you're a hero with the light power set, then you're a Sinestro member, and if you're a hero with the light power set, then you're a Green Lantern.
Man,
But it's the
Did
same.
he say hero twice?
Did I?
think he said hero
I meant to
twice,
say-
yeah.
I meant to say villain. Yeah. Okay,
Man,
it was supposed to be hero.
you know what I want to be? I want to be the guy on Oa. I want to be on Oa at the point where someone goes, "Oh, Sinestro turned evil." You know, maybe we probably should have seen that coming. He's called.
You know what's
Sinestro,
funny?
for fuck's sake.
They kind of joke about. They were like, "Oh, but Sinestro on his planet is like very nice guy, basically."
It might be, but on this planet, the only planet that matters,
Got it. Time to move.
not even a fucking joke. Like in DC, Earth is like the most important planet.
I've got to get to that
I
tent.
mean, yeah, that's where most of the superpowered characters are.
Yeah, well, yeah, you know, it's because Earth has the whole meta gene thing.
I mean, the X gene.
No.
No, the Meta gene. It's
Well,
different.
Well, no, it's a specific thing. Like the human DNA is like spontaneous for gaining random powers when exposed.
Ah, no DNA.
When exposed to whatever, which is like something that the more advanced aliens don't. Well, they do have better powers by default, but it's not like if you irradiate this alien, he's probably going to develop superpowers. It's a whole plot point in Young Justice season 3 where like meta-human trafficking, because humans are so good at gaining random powers, they're just like kidnapping random people and like awakening their meta gene and training them as like the galactic soldiers.
And I don't.
Like, I want to buy 20 humans for meta-human soldiers.
But like, you get so many fucking random powers. It's like, yes, sometimes you'll get people who are like metamorpho can turn into anything, and then sometimes you'll just get fucking Rat Boy.
It's true.
It's like it's such a fucking roll of the dice. It's like actual the mutants in X-Men. Like, how is it the next stage of human evolution? It's just random bullshit.
Well,
Go, go, go.
that what I mean. The operation was like, oh, did I have a useful power? Okay, good. You're now enslaved. Is this guy a complete failure? Okay, then we'll just throw him in the ditch somewhere.
But anyway,
You know, I think I did that part of the stealth thing, not how the game intended, because I did not follow the truck at all.
oh.
I think I was supposed to
But
follow
yeah,
the
I
truck,
guess
but
we
yeah.
should go back to what Dan was saying. This is the part for me that fucking breaks Mary Jane.
Yeah, we're gonna get to it very soon. In the I'm going through the actual like paces of running around. Ooh, shit.
And
Poor
kind of,
Mary Jane. You used to be so cool.
I mean, promise this isn't
I
Mary
think I'm
Jane.
about to get fucked because I
This is-
bumped something.
This isn't Mary Jane. This is Mary.
Lame.
Yeah, sure, go with that one. Trying to think of something better than that. Oh, I know. This is Carly Cooper.
Wait a minute. I think I get that joke.
You should. It was Joe Quesada's daughter.
Yeah, didn't they make her like Spider-Man's girlfriend for a
Yes,
while?
immediately after One More Day, which made it even more shitty.
Which is just fucking weird that you're like, I'm gonna make my daughter Peter Parker's girlfriend.
As I said,
What?
they did it immediately after One More Day, which made it even more shitty.
This is a genius plan right here. Oh yes.
I mean, it was a plan, alright? I mean, it's partially Marvel's own fault because Marvel has sort of long since held true of, oh, but we need to maintain our continuity. And on one hand, yes, that's good. On the other hand, it does lead to a lot of these issues, like shit still being canon. And say what you will about DC, like at least they'll trim the fat occasionally. And like Crisis on Infinite Earths did actually mean something. And then Infinite Crisis happened, and then it didn't.
Yeah, because they're like, you know what we need? We need the multiverse back.
Holy shit, I actually got through this stealth section with minimal difficulty. I failed this one several times when I played this my first time.
Understandable. It's not.
It's also that thing too, whenever I'm doing a Mary Jane one, my blood pressure is just higher, because I'm just like, I'm not playing the fun part
I
anymore.
also have noticed that MJ's stealth segments just are significantly longer than Miles's.
Yeah, I think that's also why Miles's are a little better. Well, Miles's are scarier, and also it's like that thing where like, Miles didn't put himself in this predicament on purpose.
Wow. The second one.
Except for the first one. Because the other two, the second one, no. The third one, he was just getting medicine and shit happened.
No, the second one is the one where he decides to jump the police. Jump the...
Yeah,
police.
to save
Yeah,
time.
he does put himself in that one.
True.
Because it's like...
So he puts himself in 2 of the 3, basically.
Because it's like, man, you're a black kid in New York. You shouldn't be doing this.
What do the demons need to get it?
You know what happens to people.
Here's where Peter jumps in and Standish falls down.
So yeah, this scene where MJ gets massively pissed because a guy was pointing a gun to her, and that's all Peter can see. He doesn't even touch the guy. He just fucking stumbles and hurts himself.
He first disarms the guy, and then the guy falls over.
Which is
Well,
like,
at least he didn't-
and then honestly,
at least he didn't slice their car up.
honestly too, what also breaks the cover and has the Sable guy show up is the fact that MJ starts screaming like an idiot. Like her immediate response is to start yelling.
Yeah.
So.
and here's the problem: is that from the greater context, it's like, oh yeah, if Spider-Man had psychic powers, then MJ might have a point here. But he doesn't. All he can see is the outline, and he knows that someone is pointing a gun at her, so he rushes in to help her, and it's like, and even if that wasn't, just the,
Oh, here we go. Oh, yeah, here we go. Here's where she's talking in the phone.
Yeah.
Sorry, Charlie. You knock a man out, except for he didn't knock him out.
Yeah, because Floor did that. And also, here's the point where he literally said something about, oh, Grand Central Station might be in trouble. And MJ decides not to mention this to Pete.
This is exactly why we broke up.
Oh, this is exactly why we broke up. It's that line, too. Here we go.
Broke up because you wouldn't stop treating me like a baby.
You want to stop treating me like a baby? You had a gun pointed to you, MJ, you fucking dumbass. Are you sure you're not a blonde? Because I feel like you're a blonde.
It's just...
Also, that line there, she goes, I'm not made out of glass, is really hilarious when we remember was it after her first stealth section, where you play as Spider-Man again, and she gets held up with a gun, and she's pleading for her life. Let's compare that to MJ in the comics, who'd be punching people out.
I mean...
See, that MJ is not made out of glass. This one,
Well, the problem is that, like...
Listen, I gotta go, Peter.
She's just forever in... She puts herself into these dangerous situations, and it's hard to feel sympathy in this case, because it's like... Yeah, because we're playing from Peter Parker's perspective, so... She did have a gun pointed at her. It's generally not a good thing.
I mean, it's New York and Marvel Comics. It's just like, oh look, somebody's pointing a gun at me.
But also, what's funny about it is, so it feels the way they write her. Now, I know what she's like in the conclusion of this. It feels more like she's using him at this point, and it's gonna really feel like that after her next stealth section, because she definitely feels like she's keeping him on the hook just to use him for her stories. That's what it feels like. And it's gonna really feel like that when we get there. Now, they of course do a little thing to push it away and say, oh no, that's not what's going on. But it's really weak.
It's the problem of trying to push too far away from the concept of Mary Jane as a as to how her and Peter Parker's relationship worked in the comic books and originally, in order to push her as this more like, I'm just gonna say, as a more of a woke art character archetype as opposed to what she was. That it
Right.
pushed her into being this obnoxious caricature of someone else.
Parker is probably someone more together.
Like,
Hell, it's similar to what they do with MJ. Well, it's actually that MJ is just boring, but it's similar with like the MJ that they have in the MCU.
Gotcha.
Also, that recurring thing that they seem to have in Hollywood these days, where they take a redhead and then turn them into a. I'm trying to think of the best way to word this. They just take a redhead and make them black for some reason. I don't know why it's always a redhead, but it's always a redhead. And it's a little... It's kind of fucked when you consider, like, there ain't a whole lot of redheads in the world. I'm not saying you shouldn't, like, have, like, more characters of, like, minority groups, which you should, but it's that thing when it's... I'm trying to figure out how to word this.
it
How-
seems
like,
odd
I'm
that
trying to
it's not
explain
like
myself.
that it's not the more common,
Like the
like
blonde.
the more common colors, more common like female colors.
Yeah, like a blonde or anything else. It's always, like, the redhead.
But you know,
Even when it's a character I don't care for, it's just I've noticed that being the trend.
it just feels odd to me, and I admit I still.
Like, it feels like they hate gingers for some reason.
Well, I mean, gingers don't have any souls, so that's understandable.
Kind of South Park.
And I was hating on gingers long before South Park.
Shut up, South Park.
It's like, but it's like, I don't know. It feels weird to me that MCU MJ isn't even called Mary Jane. It's something else, isn't it?
Yeah, it's like it's another M.
Michelle Jones.
Michelle.
It's like,
Yeah.
why isn't she just called Mary Jane?
She's pretty because she's not Mary Jane.
So,
She's a
But they
different
want her to
character.
be-
She's a different character in Mary because
why is she
they
called
don't
M?
want to use. I don't know.
They want to use MJ,
they don't
MJ,
want-
but they don't want to use
They don't want to
MJ.
use people associated with the Spider-Man brand that Sony have already used, essentially.
Pretty much, yes.
Except they haven't really used MJ yet.
Yeah, they did. They had 3 whole fucking movies that heavily featured MJ. Mate,
No, I'm talking about the newer ones.
Oh.
She's not really in the newer ones.
you ask because a scene got cut from Amazing Spider-Man 2,
Yeah, probably because of Disney.
which also, funnily enough, I think she was black in that.
So that's continuing the trend of redheads become black for some
I
reason.
never watched the delete scenes of Amazing Spider-Man 2 because I
Oh, okay.
did much more after my first run through.
But yeah, Hollywood seems to fucking hate redheads, is what I'm trying to say. I don't get it. Jeez.
So it just feels odd, but you know.
And MJ's a weird one to do it too, because she's kind of known for her red hair. Like, when you think of MJ, you think of a redhead right away.
Mm.
To be fair, like, when I think of Wonder Woman, I think of a black hair. I don't think of, like... I wouldn't think of her as a redhead. Or anything else, or, you know what I
So
mean?
yeah, she's
It's that thing when you have a character that has, like, a specific look, because they're very well known, they're iconic. It's that thing where, when you futz with it, it's that... It kind of... hurts it a bit.
Mm.
Like, you can toy with him a little bit. Like, I don't have a problem with MJ's design in this game. I mean, I miss the bangs, but I don't have a problem with how she looks. It's how she acts that bugs me.
I mean,
Because she doesn't really act like MJ.
I guess I just I don't know.
Peter looks and acts like Peter.
She's-
And the newer spider suit, it just feels like another spider suit. I still like the classic one more, but I like the one in this
There's
game.
nothing wrong with the white spider suit, but just you just sat there like, yeah, but it's not it's not the classic suit though.
On it.
Yeah.
Man, it's kind of like I was saying, is that you can adjust the Superman suit all you want. You're always going to default back to it. Like, there's only 2 Superman.
Yeah, every time they've done
There's
it,
two
it ends
Superman
up going
designs that
back.
are acceptable, and even then, one comes with a fucking like asterisk, which is you can have black suited Superman, but he has to have a mullet, otherwise it's unacceptable. I feel.
Yeah, I think we talked about. Yeah, I think like last week we were talking about
Yeah.
this. Like I think the last recording. It's that kind of thing. like, and yes, a character, and as silly as it sounds, a character's hair color or style can be that. Hell, Barbara Gordon is the same way. Like, when you think of Barbara, you think of a redhead. It's well, redheads get it more because of how striking it is, considering how rare it is, especially in real life. But it's that thing where there are certain looks that you just associate with a character, to where when you futz with it, even if people don't hate it, they're just kind of like, I like the other one better.
I feel a lot of it was a lot of characters back then kind of got hair colors more out of how cheap it was to ink them versus any sort of stylistic thing.
It would be sometimes. A price would be a thing. There was like other things that would factor in as well.
Well, like the old classic of Hulk goes from grey to green, precisely because it's cheaper to use green ink than it was to use grey ink.
Right. Hell, Super Saiyan was done just so Toriyama could save money on ink.
Yeah.
Because he was like trying to think of a way to show that Goku had gotten stronger, and he was like, gold hair, and he's like, wait a minute, not only that, but he'll now be like, I could save money on ink!
Now his hair will be lighter.
So I don't have to do as much inking to it.
Is that why he just left it on for like the entire second half of the Cell Saga?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's
Just, like,
also
never turned it off?
Probably.
I mean, that's also why, like, not being funny, every fight that like we can't fight here. Let's go to this desert where there's no backgrounds as far as the eye can see.
Oh yeah, he notoriously hates drawing backgrounds. Hates it.
It feels odd considering he's also like very much. I think I've even said he very much created a world that was expressly designed to be easier for him to draw, because that's why everything's so fucking round.
Yeah.
I mean, Toriyama has many things. The chief of them is lazy. Hardworking, yes,
True.
but also incredibly lazy. And I remember he did like a short manga with a Pang, and within a few pages, he instantly regretted his choice because he hated drawing the tank. And it's like, I don't understand you, man. Okay,
I mean, Cell's design he ended up regretting because of all the spots.
why did I do this?
Nice. Okay.
Oh yeah, because my editor told me to.
Because I was really mad at my editor, so I made him have a lot of spots for some reason.
Neurosensor circuit.
Shit. I did this to myself. He likes the design. Shit. Fuck.
Well, crap. But yeah.
How's old Toriyama gonna worm his way out of this one, boys?
He's not.
Oh, for the lack of trying. Unfortunately, I don't try because I'm Toriyama.
Yeah. I mean, I guess I could talk about Kakarot, but what is there really to say?
It's Dragon
kind of
Ball.
it's everything you've seen and done before, but you know.
So what is the game like? Because everyone's like, it's an RPG where you play as Goku. Like, what
It
does that
is.
Finished.
I mean,
From what I understand, it controls like a Xenoverse kind of game.
sort of. It's like half adventure RPG, and then the other half is like sort of Xenoverse style combat.
A new signal processor should reduce lag.
That's kind of what I was expecting it to be honest. Like, it looks good. Like, I'll probably pick it up at some point.
Did you
but
ever
it's
play
that-
Fusions?
Yes, I like Fusions
It's
a lot,
kind of like
actually.
Fusions, but instead of like that combat system, it switches to Xenoverse.
That makes sense. That's kind of, like I said, that's kind of what I was thinking it was gonna be. I like Xenoverse Fusions a lot, so I'm okay with that. Because that's probably like one of my favorite Dragon Ball games, and also it was its own plot.
Sort of. At a certain point,
No, it
at
was.
a certain point, it was its own plot. For
No,
for a lot of the
it never jumped into
for a lot of the game, it's going back. It's Back to the Future, but with Dragon Ball.
That doesn't happen.
What's Xenoverse?
No, I was Fusions.
Oh, sorry. I thought you were talking about Xenoverse. My bad.
No.
Yeah, Fusions is mostly original.
But
I just now want to see
yeah.
like Back to the Future, but everyone's got stupid Dragon Ball hair.
the greatest of champions in all the
Just
world.
imagining-
Step into the grand
I'm
hall.
just imagining Biff, but he's fucking Piccolo in all his various stages through life.
I like to imagine it's Biff, but it's the actor playing Biff on the guitar, asking people to stop asking him questions.
I saw that. He's actually a really good guitar player.
He's apparently a really good guy.
Yeah, he was in like Legends of Tomorrow, and he did like a whole song number.
Oh, speaking of that, actually, and semi-related to Spider-Man, apparently there was an interview with the guy who played Flash Thompson in the Sam Raimi movie, where it revealed that, like, during that fight scene, or that fight that was going to happen, and that happened in the school, he was offered like $200 by the production to actually punch Tobey Maguire,
Oh yeah, I heard about this.
and he did it because it probably would have killed his career if he'd have broken Tobey Maguire's face.
Yeah.
Apparently, the crew did not like him.
2.8 milliseconds.
Did not like Tobey Maguire.
Good work, Peter.
Probably also explains why in like Spider-Man 2 he gets so viciously attacked by Sam Raimi. And like all the bags that hit, there's a sequence where all the bags hit him.
Is he not a good guy?
Apparently not. Apparently he's a bit of a shitbag.
Hmm.
Also, you know, in Spider-Man 2, that scene where like he gets his powers and he like, you know, jumps around saying and screaming, I'm back," and then falls down and like lands on his back, and then says, "My back."
Yeah.
Back." That's apparently a reference to the fact that Tobey Maguire allegedly was allegedly gonna be out of Spider-Man 2 because for back injury reasons that he miraculously recovered from, which everyone thinks might have been a cover for money.
Yes.
I don't know though. I'm just saying what the general thing.
Cover for what? It cut out for a
That
second.
apparently he had a back injury that was not true and he was faking as an excuse in case he elected to get out of the movie because he wanted more money.
Okay.
So that's why when he says my back, it's a joke about that. And also apparently there's like a fucking article like you can see briefly in the movie that says something about like back injuries related to like small brains or something on one of the newspapers. I mean, of all the directors that you want to piss off, Sam Raimi's not the one I would pick. If only because he's actually
No.
a psychopath.
Unbelievable.
Bruce
I
Bruce
mean,
Campbell can attest. He tells some fucking horror stories about
Do you need some help?
his allegedly best friend. If you ever want like a good time, just listen to any like sort of interview with Bruce Campbell about Evil Dead.
Doctor, what's going on?
honestly, just listen to Bruce Campbell.
It's become
God, there's
obvious.
this like bit. He has like a fucking autobiography
My
that has a
doctors call it
foreword
degenerative
that was meant to be written by
neurological
one of the Raimi brothers, and it's
Probably
just
caused by
basically this
overexposure
excuse
to
to do this
toxic
skit
chemicals
about how the
in
Raimi
work
brothers
against you.
are
Sorry,
fucking
is there anything I
charlatans
can
and
do? You
thieves,
already are.
and how they like
The worst part is
rob this guy because they're. It's this great
the mind
like
continues to work, but
I can't remember the book now. I think it's like
No
For the Love
longer
of Chin or
can.
something. Obviously.
you're the only
But,
one who knows, Peter.
But yeah,
Keep it that way.
that happens a good bit
Of course.
in Hollywood, especially back in the day, where you'd have like actors, funny enough, that would play the douchebags would be like the nicest people, and then like the people playing like the characters that are supposed to be nice would be giant raging douchebags.
It's not going anywhere.
I mean,
So neither am I.
And I always just find that really funny.
apparently the one who was the most difficult on Back to the Future was Marty McFly. Was the guy who played Marty McFly's dad.
Yeah, that's why he wasn't in.
Well, specifically, he wasn't in the sequel because he wanted more money. He wanted an extortionate amount of money.
Outlines possible
And everyone
next
else
steps
was
for the
like,
neural interface.
What?
I'll take a look.
Everyone else is like, well, Marlon Brando got away with it.
Right.
So,
You know, it's actually funny because we can kind of like poke fun at Kojima, which I think is one thing that's kind of funny is like Kojima didn't want the original voice cast back for Twin Snakes, and Dave Hayter literally took like a huge pay cut just to be like, no, they should be back. Don't pay me less.
Pretty much.
Direct interface with the.
He'd always had.
And if he didn't do that,
Kojima had always had it out for the English voice cast.
was because he wanted.
yeah.
He wanted famous people, and they were like, "Yeah, that's a good one." Nobody respects.
And then they
nobody
gave it to him.
respects video game. But yeah, because it was like years later, and now like famous people actually do video games. But at the time, he was like, so I'm thinking we could get a bunch of Hollywood guys to do
Really sick.
Metal
At this
Gear
rate, he'll lose control
Solid
of his
and the
motor
PS1, and
functions
they're like, "Are
within
you
a
kidding?"
year.
And then they played him like the Resident Evil
An intracranial implant could make things even worse.
first scene, and they're like, "This is what
Right.
we have to work with."
After his personality.
It's not a respect
proceed
like
carefully.
voiceover is not a respected medium over here, so you're not really.
It's more respected now, but not nearly like what it. But it's better than it was then, but it's still not nearly like what it is over there.
It's like you're not going to get a kind of celebrity to show up for anything less than a Disney movie.
Doc, I'm sorry.
Right.
My...
Like, the best you're gonna get is hilariously enough, David Hayter, who was an actor. Well, out of work actor.
Thanks.
Well, out of
I'll be
work.
back in a few
Yeah.
hours.
No. Famous.
I think he's mostly a writer, although he was in a couple.
He is
movies.
most.
He was an actor, but he mostly is a writer these days.
Well, yeah. He was. And he took a job doing, and occasionally he'll do like voice acting stuff. Very occasionally.
I like how they basically made medieval Solid Snake for Bloodstained, just to have David
I
Hayter.
mean, as I said, you can't really fault the guy because he did like willingly take a pay cut.
Oh no,
No,
I
yeah,
have
yeah,
no.
I love the man, and it's like he willingly took a massive
David
pay
Hayter's
cut
great.
just to make sure they could get everyone to be in everyone to come back for Twin Snakes, which is
Yeah, so David Hayter, I absolutely love the guy. I adore him. But it's funny is Kojima fucking up with Hayter is one of the things that made me start really, really analyzing Kojima's work.
Bye.
Because I'm still fucking pissed about what he did to a Hayter, and as I learned, was trying to do for years to Hayter.
well, because it's like at the end of the day, you can't like. I think David Hayter's performance is massively influential in terms of making Metal Gear like the thing that it was.
Yeah, definitely.
Because and like it definitely led to this sorry. And like because of that, like Snake has one of the most iconic sort of English voices, which is why like swapping him out that they tried to do was never gonna work. Is ever gonna think Kiefer Sutherland is the voice of Snake?
No.
Everyone is only ever gonna think David Hayter, Metal Gear. There's all anyone will ever think of.
Yeah, like when you read like a fan comic where they have like a snake, you hear David Hayter. You don't hear Kiefer Sutherland's non-existent voice acting.
So,
This isn't a dig at Kiefer Sutherland. There just was no voice acting because he wasn't given any lines.
he's a fine actor from what I've seen, the things I've seen him in where he acts, but it's like he doesn't have any lines, and it's super noticeable when all of the scenes of Punish Snake talking are off camera, so you don't have to animate and pay Kiefer Sutherland to, you know.
It's funny how cheap they were with that, considering how much expensive that game was and how much he was just kind of throwing money away. Like it's kind of hilarious.
So yeah, so it's that kind of just sort of screwing over David Hayter, was a massive part of Metal Gear getting recognition and interest in the West, which
And
is
hell, getting voice acting in video games to step up. Because, like, voice acting before Metal Gear... Because Metal Gear influenced voice acting moving to being more respected in video games and them actually putting some fucking effort into it. For those of you who are younger, you should just look up, like, some old, like, PS1 voice acting.
I'll tell you exactly what to look up. Look up
it's
Resident
rough.
Evil and look up Mega Man 8. That was what we had.
Ooh, Evil Zone! Evil Zone!
I've never
Look
seen
up Evil
I've never seen
Zone!
that one.
Oh, it's great! There are so many instances of just terrible voice acting from that era.
You'll find
And
that
Metal
in
Gear,
your-
thanks...
You'll find Dr. Wywee.
Doctor... Also, while talking about, like, voice stuff, one thing that was kind of funny when they did Twin Snakes, was they got... So, like I said, they got the original cast back. When they were going back to do Mei Ling's lines, they had a realization of something stupid. It is true, it was fucking stupid. They're like, wait, Why does Mei Ling have a stereotypical Chinese accent when she's from California?
I don't know. She's from Chinatown.
Like she was born in America. It doesn't make any sense for her to
Yeah,
have
in
this like
Chinatown.
that's no.
That's how it works.
It is a good point.
No, that is not how it works.
I think you'll find that it is.
No, it's not, Train Man. But I just always thought that was kind of funny, and that's why since a lot of people never played Twin Snakes, because they never re-released it.
I feel a lot
that's
of
why
that is more to do with Silicon Knights than anything.
I don't think they have any rights to it.
I'm never 100% sure, but also, you know, Kojima did not like Twin Snakes.
No, he did not. Though he's not there anymore, so hey, Konami, I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
Require Konami to
You
give a
could-
shit about video games, which they
I
only
mean, yeah,
occasionally
but-
pretend to do.
But hey, there's money on the table, is what I'm saying. There's literal money just
I'm
sitting
not
there.
actually sure about that because I kind of think because of the sort of general consensus in terms of how the Konami Kojima relationship ended. I think Konami is like, yeah, we probably won't get away with it. I think Metal Gear Survive taught them a pretty harsh lesson about that.
Well, they probably would have gotten away with it. Survive wasn't shit.
I don't know if they. I don't know. I feel like even if the game had have not been,
I don't think it would have been popular. I think even if it was better than 5, people would have still been like, eh.
people still would have
it's not
hated it if it
Kojima.
would come out. Even if it's
Yeah.
better than 1. But like, I don't know. I think Konami are smarter to just say, yeah, Metal Gear Solid is a series that was the landmark of our company. It's dead now. Because if you
Right.
do anything new with it, people are probably going to be pissed. Admittedly, they probably don't care because Konami doesn't give a shit about anything like that. But you know, who knows? They might care.
It's hard to tell. Konami's weird.
Not even a game company anymore.
They make an occasional game each year. It's always bad. That's what they do each year. They make one game. Last year's it was Contra. Year before that it was Metal Gear. So you know they make one. They just make one each year. Exactly one.
I mean, it works, I guess.
And that's that's what Konami does now. Well, they focus on their pachinko monopoly that doesn't actually exist, but they just keep
I
making.
mean,
them.
I'm pretty sure pachinko parlors have been like massively losing profit.
Yeah, they're not. Yeah, they're not doing
Yeah,
too
just
hot.
be-
That's actually
yeah,
why.
it's because they're thinking.
That's why.
about-
That's why SNK. Hold on. That's why SNK pulled out. That's why they pulled out of pachinko and started making video games again.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I fight guys stronger than me all the time, but when I
Mm.
do, I have
Oh, like that time you fought
But yeah.
right on the Brooklyn Bridge? That was so awesome.
perfect example.
Oh,
The other guy's bigger.
I don't know. We'll see
Okay.
what happens. Any games you guys looking forward to this year? Because I'm mildly interested in Doom Eternal, but I have this. I can't really say what it is. I just have this horrible feeling about it.
Yeah, no, it's the same thing with me. It's mainly because of Bethesda. That's how I am with it too. I'm looking forward to it, but I'm worried.
Don't let the adrenaline get
Because Bethesda and you know with what happened with like Wolfenstein and shit.
hip square to your opponent.
It's Bethesda.
Let them make the first move.
In terms of games I'm looking forward to, I am looking forward to Persona 5 Royale, but I don't know if that counts as a new game considering most of it's not a new game.
Right on the job. I can
Cyberpunk I'm looking forward to.
Sorry.
I think that's it
that up
for
and,
me. I don't know of any other ones that are coming out that I'm interested in.
Lesson's over. Gotta go.
This year might be a slower year for video games for me.
Thanks.
But then again, I think that, and then sometimes like the year will have like several games that come out later. I'm like,
Yeah,
oh
but
wait,
you're
I'm
gonna be
actually
playing
interested in
RE3
that.
though.
Just punch Spider-Man.
Oh, do you know what
Probably,
is
I'm
the
not sure
biggest
when though.
mistake so far though?
I don't know when I'm gonna get RE3 though, to be honest
No,
with
but the
you.
biggest mistake with RE3 so far.
Shelter should be just
Why isn't it
What?
coming out on Valentine's Day?
You know,
What's
you're
the
right.
fucking point, man? It's her day.
They missed a
They
trick.
did miss a trick. Maybe I wouldn't might as much accept the release date's
Bro,
like
you're not gonna believe this.
pretty close
I
to
just
it.
met Spider-Man.
Capcom, you're slipping. You had an amazing.
Listen, we know you've been making some really good games lately, but come on, come on.
You dragged yourself up from the
I'll show him
gutter,
next time.
but come
I
on.
gotta go. I promised my mom I wouldn't be late.
You could do better
It
than
is like
this.
the ultimate sort of riches to rags to riches story, isn't it?
Kind of is.
I blame Keiji Inafune.
Yeah, actually. Honestly, you can. That's not even a joke. You really can.
Market. I can cut
Man,
through
remember when he was
Well-
the savior? When everyone was like, man, Inafune though, he's the best. He made Mega Man, sort of.
Mighty Number 9 is going to be like the greatest thing ever.
I still follow the idea that fucking Mega Man 11, as much not Mega Man 11, Mega Man 12, as much as no, it was 11, sorry. As much as I do really like that game was 100% made out of spite.
I wonder if it still works.
Probably.
100%. That was Capcom fucking just pouring salt on the wound of Mighty Number 9 as a giant fuck you.
I just love it because for years everyone was like, man, Capcom is the worst company ever made. Everyone, they scum, they deserve to die. And Keiji Inafune is the hero we don't deserve. And then you found out, well, haha, a funny story about that. He wasn't the hero you deserved.
You're kidding me.
And Mighty Number 9, Shenmue 3, Bloodstain is gonna be the exception to the rule, isn't it?
Bloodstain is the exception. Out of like the big like revivals by their quote-unquote
Ukulele.
creators. But the funny thing is the Shenmue 3 is exactly what Shenmue was.
I heard a rather good point about Shenmue, which is that basically the problem with Shenmue was that all the people who did work on Shenmue went to come and work on Yakuza.
Okay, time to move.
So
Yeah.
literally,
Other than the
Yakuza
creator.
did just exist as a Shenmue killer.
And it really is.
It's
Because
everything.
it does. It's everything Shenmue wishes it was. Yeah, you can say Yakuza is more action-based, yada yada yada, whatever. Technically not wrong, but Shenmue it being more story-driven, and yet it has a worse story.
I mean, surely Shenmue's... But that's the thing, is Shenmue being story-driven is one thing, but it's like, it's the fundamental lessons on video gaming that it's just not ever... that it's managed to not learn. Every... like... At the end of... And also
It
at the
did
end
not
of the
learn
day,
anything in
Yakuza
all those
made
decades.
money. Yakuza...
And it's still...
Yakuza
yeah,
made enough money to have yearly fucking releases. Shenmue did
in
not.
a movie. In a movie, don't forget that. It had a movie.
Yeah, it had a movie. In the time between Shenmue 2 and 3, the entirety of the Yakuza series happened.
I think it also helps that Yakuza 1 had a fucking finished story, where Shenmue has barely started telling a story.
You know what Yakuza 1 had? Yakuza 1 had Mark Hamill. He doesn't
did.
remember it, because literally someone like sent him a picture, and he was like, I don't remember this. But he was in Yakuza 1. He was Majima. Like I said,
Yeah.
he doesn't remember it. It's kind of funny.
Nighty night. This will be so cool.
Oh no, it is. It's fucking hilarious.
Less terror.
Nah. Nope.
Oh, I fucked up.
They're not
Man,
messing
I
around.
got fucking depressed earlier because I was like watching some guy reviewing like DC, like the DC animated stuff, and then he was like, "Yeah, back in the days when I was 3 years old in 2004," and I'm like, "Oh,
It just makes you feel
Yeah.
old.
Ignore me.
yeah."
Invisible.
I'm like, I remember those days.
I'm in the clear.
Yeah, I remember those days when I was a teen. I was a fucking teenager. God damn
I
it.
wasn't a teenager in 2004.
2004, I was 15.
Yeah, almost there.
I would have been actually 12 in 2004.
You said I
Okay.
did.
So I was on the cusp, but I was
Yeah.
Yeah, and I chose this over more therapy.
trying to remember
I mean, it was
exactly if I
helpful.
did anything.
Got a wee old.
I don't remember if anything. Well, I was doing in 2004 now.
Mom.
Yeah?
Just because
Ah,
I
probably
want to
wasn't
talk about it
important.
doesn't mean I
I
don't
was in
love you.
high school.
I love you so much.
Alright, we were all thinking, man, Bush is the dumbest president we're ever going to have in the
I gotta
United
go.
States.
I'll call you on my
Yes,
way
yes,
home.
like man.
Meanwhile, Huh.
It's never gonna get worse than Bush.
We've hit rock bottom, boys. Oh.
The bedrock. We have yet to hit bedrock. I'm going to just say we have yet to hit bedrock. It can always be worse.
Fun.
Uh.
Oh well.
And I know we went a little longer because I ended up doing the mile section while we were talking, so I was like, ah, fuck it. Hey, notice I wasn't bitching during the mile section, though.
Yeah, you know who else was bitching during the miles section? MJ.
Pete. Hey, sorry.
It's
I'm
true.
late.
Oh, no, I'm just glad you're here.
All right,
I mean, I also
so,
wasn't playing as one.
What can I do to help?
I get
Why don't you
it.
start just by getting comfortable with the place?
Wait.
Meet a few people.
After the cutscene, we'll end, so we can just kind of ramble on about something short for a little bit.
Terry Jones
And I'll be
died.
back in a little while to check on you. Is that cool?
Oh yeah, I did hear about that.
Oh,
It's a shame,
don't worry
but I
about
mean,
Mr.
I
he's
was gonna
just getting
say,
up there.
I mean, it sounds a lot crueler than it's meant to be, but it does reach a point where it's like, it's not really a fucking surprise, is it, guys?
Yeah, it's like when you get to some of the older people, it's as fucked up as it sounds. It was like when Stan Lee died.
Coffee?
I think we had this conversation in actually one of the recordings back for Dragon Ball. We were like, yeah, it sucks,
But like,
but he was really
he was mega
old.
It was gonna
It's
happen.
a subatomic particle.
You can't
It was literally a
You
matter of
can't feel
time.
like too bad. He had a good run. It wasn't like
He was-
it wasn't
Yeah.
like fucking new Chekhov in Star Trek where he got like killed, where he died tragically young. It's like the young about Stan Lee, except maybe his relationship with Jack Kirby.
You mind
Oof.
if I take a look?
You're not wrong, but ugh.
CRTs at school. I know how to fix these when they're...
What? No.
I thought he could hold that a little longer. Feeding on the souls of those who had gone before him.
Nah, I think once like
Could be a loose coax cable.
That's Hulk Hogan, and also but he while he lives longer, the Sheik still lives because Sheik's hatred keeps him alive. Fuck you, Hulk Hogan! Fuck the territories! You suck, Hulk Hogan ass. I feel like Iron Sheik will die when Hulk Hogan eventually dies.
maybe they'll kill each other
I'm empty here.
and
No,
last wrestle.
unfortunately, or fortunately, depending on how you look at
Do
it.
nothing heroic,
No.
Get himself blown up.
I don't think that's how it'll go. Hulk Hogan will eventually die because he's run out of people to get to forgive him, so he extends his life, because Iron Sheik will never forgive him, and then he dies, and Iron Sheik wheels over in a wheelchair with an oxygen tank and goes, "Fuck you!" spits, and then
I never
dies.
got that in MGS4, right? When you meet Big Boss, and Big Boss is like, as long as zero exists, zero will become one. It's like, he's a fucking invalid, man. He's dead anyway. Like,
He doesn't even
what
know what's
does
going
you
on
killing
right
him
now.
mean at this point?
He doesn't. He's just sitting there on action. He doesn't even know where he
Like,
is.
he is, for all intents and purposes, already dead. Like, what are you doing here, Big Boss?
He just wanted to kill him.
And you know, I can at least respect that. But it's like,
Hey, Peter.
there is no point to this to the killing him here. He's already dead. He died, like, and it feels super weird to me. It feels super weird that Zero never got like
Get to the Bowery and locate
there's like no real scene between like Zero and Big Boss where Zero is like actually the villain he's meant to be.
Yeah, you didn't even get that in 5 when they could have had the perfect
Zero
opportunity
doesn't
to do
appear
it.
in 5. It's like so bizarre because it's like it's one of the huge because it's like meant to be one of the most sort of important moments in the entire like timeline is Big Boss and Zero split up and stop being friends. And we never see it happen.
And they never do
It
it.
never happens on screen.
Like, because yeah, Peace Walker happens after they've already split.
And it feels odd that they just have no scenes together.
I think it's because Kojima just wasn't interested in doing it.
I kind of wonder.
Doesn't he like have big time skips between like every game?
Yeah.
But I mean, like Kojima in general, he has like what he's interested in is always weird, and doing something like that is something that he doesn't seem to be interested in, and it definitely feels like something you should show, especially after you see the camaraderie from the fucking Metal Gear 3, because it's like, okay, so how they fall apart? Oh, they fell
Well,
apart.
the entire,
They had a
well, the
disagreement.
entire
Okay,
plot
so
of
what was the disagreement?
The
Mm.
franchise relies on these two having their spat, and it hinges
Yeah.
entirely on this battle that starts, and you never see like what it is, and it's kind of this weird thing that you keep following Big Boss, and it's like, oh man, that fucking asshole Zero, and it's like, so when did the split happen and why? Like, what is Zero doing that is fundamentally opposed to your goal, which is endless war, which is what Zero went for? Infinite war?
I think it's literally Kojima couldn't think of
Which
what
is
he
always
wanted
odd
to
because
do
the
with it.
boss's like actual dire message is, man, war is stupid. Let's stop all war. And Big Boss is like, yeah, I hear you loud and clear, boss. Endless war. Gotcha. No, that's
What?
not what
No.
I said, Jack. No, I said no war. No, it's fine, I got you. I'll carry on your way. Did you hear that right? Hear that, Zero? Yep, endless war. Gotcha. Endless war. We're all on board. Endless war. Hey, Big Boss, I'm gonna clone you. What? Nothing.
What? No, I don't want to be cloned.
Oh, too bad. We already cloned you. Sorry.
Fuck! I'm gonna kill my clone
I'm
son.
gonna kill one of my clone sons.
And the other one I'm gonna keep around.
What about the third?
Hey, you know what would be funny if we tell the actual better clone that is the inferior one?
Yeah, we should do
Yeah,
that.
just
Alright,
see
cool.
what happens.
Oh, he became a mega terrorist, and he took over everything, and he tried to take over the world. You know, in hindsight, probably should have seen that coming. But what do you think, paramedic? Oh, you died off screen. Oh, okay, sorry. I mean, Sigint becoming DARPA chief. Yeah, I'll accept that. It just feels super odd that paramedic goes from this nice girl who just fucking loves movies and.
Yeah, a nice little dorky girl who's like into
And
medicine
then she's
and
a
movies.
fucking Nazi super scientist who experiments on children and stupid and weird shit. And also,
Like it feels like two different people. Like it feels like two totally different people. Like that paramedic doesn't seem like she'd be the one who'd do fucking experiments on children and shit.
And it's made worse by the fact that she apparently becomes a dude because they expressly call Dr. Clark a he in like Metal Gear Solid.
Well, you see,
Retcons. But anyway,
they just made
let's
her
end it
think
here.
Was a
Nanomachines,
because-
son.
nanomachines.
Oh wait, actually, remember there was a throwaway line in 5 where they're like, "No one knows if it's a he or a she."
Yeah, I know, but it's still fucking stupid.
Because Kojima
No, it's 'cause
forgot.
someone was like, "Hey, Kojima, you wrote he here, right?" And paramedic's a woman. Fuck. All right. I'll think of something. No one knows apart from all the people who do know. You should know.
All right, well, we're gonna end it here. Hope you guys enjoyed, which was actually mostly a Kojima dunking session.
Yeah.
Have a good day.